Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Monday, May 18th, and we're going to take a look at the market the way we usually do. We got one day of trading, so it should be fairly quick. We'll look at the indices, indicators, and tonight we're going to look at Apple, IBM, storage technology, which I know I touched on yesterday, so we'll be brief, and GoPro. Okay, the Dow Industrials up 26 points today, so we continue to push in here even after this compressed day on Friday. The Dow's at a new all-time high closing today, and as is the S&P 500. Okay, so it pushed up here also. Now, you know, I talked about these compressed days and how they were near the highs, and I can't remember where it was back in here somewhere, I think December 24th. So I still think we need to be careful. We'll see how much follow through and how much continued pushing we really get. And it's like, you know, you can't make too much out of the record highs, and we'll see what's going on here. The Nasdaq, I've still got this ending diagonal in here on the Nasdaq, and it's pulled back up to it. We'll see if that continues to hold. The S&P 500, I took the diagonal off. I still just, I mean, look at all these overlapping waves in here, and just everything is so congestive, so overlapping. It just is really hard to make any other sense out of it. It just is not stair-stepping. Even down here, you know, we had some overlapping, but you definitely ran more. You know, you had legs that you could run with and move, and we're just not getting that in here. And so we'll see how this continues to develop. New York Composite did not move higher. It was actually down 0.45 today. So, you know, no great shakes out of that. And again, it's just kind of hanging right there. Let's take a look at the RSI. The RSI is not confirming any move up by any means. Of course, that wasn't. Let me compare it here. Let me do this. Okay. So a little bit of divergence here. We sell off. We kind of rally. We're back up, and we closed, you know, on Friday at an all-time high in the New York Composite, but, you know, the RSI wasn't confirming that. So again, just a lot of just meandering right now. Russell 2000 had a big day today. I mean, it was up 13.57. So that's a little bit of a surprise, and could be, you know, it kind of messes up with this little consolidation pattern I had here. Although you could make the case that you just stretch it, but and make it a little more parallel to this. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, the fact that this kind of pushed out into this diagonal really weakens this. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm taking this off. And, you know, this may not let me. There we go. I'm going to remove this for now, and then I'm looking at this potential head and shoulders. Okay, so it's just, and I say potential because that's all it is right now. I mean, it's suspicious in terms of the topping type action that we're getting here. So you see what I'm talking about. Okay. So we'll see whether or not that's what happens or not. But again, it's just you spot these things and you say, well, okay, here's a possible scenario. Create a parallel line, and if I take it up here to the top of the left shoulder, it's actually pushed a little bit beyond it right now. Let me make that a dotted line. So we'll see. We'll continue to watch the Russell 2000 short-term trading index. 1.03 today, the 10-day just going sideways on the moving average. The VIX actually was slightly up today. Yeah, a 0.35. And, you know, hard to make anything out of it, really. I mean, it pulled back on Friday, you know, Thursday, Friday, and then we're just kind of sideways action today, you know, but slightly up. The high-low, same thing. You know, we Friday and Thursday and Friday was 79, and we got 86 more new highs than new lows, so nothing significant there. All right, let's take a look at the 4 stocks we're looking at tonight. Apple. You know, I really wrestled with, I really thought this was a 5th wave up on Apple, and now I'm kind of moving to the fact that I think there's some kind of 4th minor wave going sideways here. The only problem is if you say it bottomed right here, I mean, let's assume that it bottomed right there for the 4th minor wave sideways. Again, we're in a 5th intermediate wave of a 5th primary wave. So, I mean, we're getting near the top on Apple, I believe. Now, this, how many days from here to here? It's like 51 days of chopping sideways. And that is the longest of any minor wave. I mean, when I looked at this 4th minor wave in here, the 4th wave of intermediate wave 3, I think there was like 31, and the 4th wave in here, or this was a 2nd wave, corrective wave. Okay, it chopped sideways, and that was 40 days. Okay, so this is longer than either one of those minor sideways corrective actions, which makes me suspicious of it, but it also just, it looks like it's just that kind of a wave. So I'm going to give that the benefit of the doubt and assume we're in a 5th wave. I think if that's the case, we got a little bit more to push to higher, and I'm thinking, you know, up around 40, 140 or so, based on some Fibonacci projections. So we'll see if that plays out. The next one I wanted to take a look at was IBM. IBM is looking like it's in at least, you know, the short-term and intermediate trends moving higher. We had this what looked like a head and shoulders bottom. It didn't break up as quickly as I would have thought, and it kind of languished again into the March-April timeframe, you know, like a lot of stocks were doing. And it finally broke out here. Now it's consolidated again for a couple of weeks, and it still looked like it's trending higher. Now the thing on IBM, you know, it's still got the 55 below the 233, although we got a nicely rising 55, but you're going to run into some overhead resistance right in, you know, at these lows, at the low here and the low here. So around 179 to 180, and then of course the gap, this big gap in here, gets filled at I would say at 180, you know, 0.22 or 21. So I mean, let's call it 180. So, you know, you got potential resistance coming up in here. So I don't think you got a whole lot more to go before you you know, start to stall out on IBM. We'll see. The next one I want to take a look at is Seagate, which I talked about yesterday, and we did get into puts today in the trade idea. It hit the entry point on it. So I'm looking to see if the short-term trend is realigning with the, you know, it looks like it is. Will it pull the intermediate trend down? Short-term trends down, long-term trends down. We'll see if we can get some follow-through and finally get some movement in the direction, you know, and get some follow-through on these moves. The last one tonight is GoPro, and GoPro has been trending up nicely. Remember we talked about back in, you know, March, we had this descending wedge or declining wedge in here, and boy, it sure just took its time getting to the top of the wedge, you know, but it finally did it here on this move here on April 29th, and it's continued to trend and pull up. Now again, there's no 233-day moving average because this is all the trading on GoPro. Okay, so that's what we've got, and so kind of hard to make anything out of that other than right now we're in a nice little short-term to intermediate trend up, and I'm not getting any, you know, bearish divergence. I mean, it just keeps pushing up. The only thing I noticed, you know, your volume dropped off quite a bit, and if the dotted line is 50-day volume, so if you said, well, over here at this peak, 50-day moving average of volume, and then what's the 50-day moving average of volume now? And it's dropped off about 15% between here and here. The volume's dropped off about 15% as it's tried to continue to push up. So that's the only thing I see. It makes a little bit suspicious. We're riding this nice trend line. So far, nothing closing below the 10. It continues to ride above the 10-day moving average. So right now it looks like, you know, green light for GoPro. Let me see if there's, you know, where potential resistance. Well, really, you know, again, where this kind of came in here and the top right in here is going to be resistance that it's going to need to break through if it's going to turn into some major kind of rally. So you could almost, let me do this and then we'll be done. You can almost draw a trend line across the top here and say that's what you're looking at. And that could be some kind of a head and shoulders bottom. I mean, you could have, you know, you see what I'm talking about? If you know, you could have something like this and a big head and a little shoulder. Okay, well, so I mean, that's one potential scenario. We'll throw that one out there and keep an eye on it. Okay, that's it for tonight. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Hey, if you're watching the video anywhere else besides my website, head on over there, check out the posts and the trade ideas. If you're not a subscriber, it's easy to do. First name and email, and you'll be good to go. And so until next time, which will be Wednesday night, stay focused, follow your plan, and trade without fear. Have a great Tuesday, Wednesday, everyone.